What has just happened? Maybe I shouldn't look to check that. Is this going to be a spoiler? I might read like one more chapter. Oh my god, guys. There's a caterpillar. Oh my god. Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. So for today's video, we're kind of doing this a bit backwards because I'm actually filming this post-filming this whole video because I just realised I didn't do an intro. But we're going to be reading books that I think are potentially 5 stars. I'm not going to go into detail on like what books we end up reading, but I thought I'd just quickly intro the video. So there's 3 books we're going to read in this video. They basically all run along like the same sort of theme. They're kind of like lit fic / romance, and then there's one that's like a more romance based book. That's all I'm going to say, but I will say 2 of them, actually no, I'm not gonna lie, all 3 of them have been high on my priority for a very long time. Also, I really hope you can't hear the fan because I do have a fan going on right now. It is boiling in the UK, can you tell? It's coming up really pink. I swear to God I'm not that burnt in real life. It's because I've got like all these lights set up because I don't want to open my blind because it will just let all the heat in. But yeah, we've been experiencing a tad of a heat wave in the UK. I'd say a tad, that's very lightly. It's been very, very hot. So yeah, I've got my bikini on because I'm gonna go outside soon. But yeah, I've had a really good time filming this video, and reading for this video. I feel like I don't want to say too much about the books we read, but in my opinion, it's a good one. It's a very, very good lineup. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Right, please ignore the state of me because I am about to get into bed, so we're looking very dishevelled right now. But I feel like I need to update on the Bright Years because I started this, when did I start this? Like a day or 2 ago, and I'm actually at 113 pages, and I feel like I need to kind of check in because I haven't said a thing about this book. So firstly, because I haven't really done my intro yet, we were kind of working a bit backwards with this video, but I thought the best thing I can do is tell you what this book is about. So I'm going to quickly read you the back. It says, Ryan and Lillian Bright are deeply in love, recently married and now parents to a baby girl, I think it's Georgette. I think that's how you pronounce it. But Lillian has a son she hasn't told Ryan about, and Ryan has an alcohol addiction he hasn't told Lillian about. So Georgette comes of age watching their marriage rise and fall. When a shocking blow scatters the fragile trio, Georgette tries to distance herself from reminders of her parents. Years later, Lillian's son comes searching for his birth family, so Georgette must return to her roots, unearth her family's history, and decide whether she can open up to love for them or herself while there's still time. Told from 3 intimate point of views, The Bright Years is a tender, true-to-life debut that explores the impact of each generation in a family torn apart by tragedy, but over time restored by the power of grace and compassion. So this book, I believe, came out last year, and I've heard genuinely nothing but glowing reviews. I feel like everyone I've seen rates it 5 stars, has cried, gets so attached, and just said this is like the best book of the year. So it finally came out in paperback. I think it was last month, but there was like I don't know if anyone else, if you've pre-ordered this in paperback, maybe you had the same thing, but I got a notification from Waterstones to say that basically the supplier didn't print enough copies, so it came a bit delayed. It only got here, I think, last week, but the minute this arrived, I was like, right, we need to get this in a video, and what better video than trying to find a 5 star. Well, I'm trying to find a 5 star. Reading books, I think, will be 5 stars. This one I really think could potentially be 5 stars. I will say, obviously, I'm nearing like the halfway. I don't know how many pages there are. Oh my god, there's only 269 pages. This is a shorter book than I thought. So yeah, I really am nearly halfway. We've started in Lillian's point of view, which is obviously the wife to Ryan and the mother to Georgette. I didn't realise, because I didn't read the back of this book before I went in, so I actually didn't realise that we were going to get 3 point of views. So we're nearing the part where we get Georgette's point of view. I literally just have this much, and then we go into the daughter's point of view, and then I'm guessing we get Ryan's point of view. Maybe I shouldn't look to check that. Is this going to be a spoiler? We do get Ryan's point of view, but Ryan's point of view is tiny. So like Lillian's is huge, Georgette's is like middle and then Ryan's is tiny, so interesting. But so far I am really enjoying this one. I feel like it took me a little bit longer than I thought it may to get into, just because, as I said, all I've seen are 5-star reviews, so I expected to be hooked like that and be so immersed in the story. I am immersed in the story and I am really enjoying it. It's definitely an interesting read because we've been through, I think we've spanned about 30 years now. We started in 1979 and I'm currently in 2000. So yeah, about like 20 odd years. So it's been really interesting. There's a lot of time jumps, but I feel like the way it's written is so well done that it doesn't feel like you've missed out a big chunk of time, because it kind of like sums up where they are. And like it's all like mundane kind of things that you're missing, I guess, in those time jumps, if that makes sense. But I'm really enjoying this. I'm really intrigued to see the other point of views because, as I said, I wasn't aware that we were going to be getting anyone else's point of view. So the fact now we get all 3 members of this family and seeing how all these life things impact each of them, because the biggest thing happening currently right now is that Ryan is an alcoholic, which obviously says on the back, so that's not a spoiler. And it's kind of like Lillian dealing with that, like in herself, but then also dealing with that with Georgette, because she's trying to like still raise her well and be a good mum and do all these things whilst also struggling because her husband has an addiction that he really can't handle, and there's a lot of family trauma from both of their sides. So it's a really interesting read. I have no idea where we're going to go with this one. I feel like it is going to end in a very sad and heartbreaking way, just based on what I've heard and just like reading it. I will say the chapters are quite short, which I'm loving, and yeah, overall I am having a really good time. I don't know whether it's a 5-star yet. I feel like it's definitely a strong 4. I think maybe we could get to a 5, but I'm not gonna say too much. Obviously I'm hoping it is, and I think it has the potential. That's the whole reason we're reading it in today's video. But yeah, that is a very quick, I say quick lightly, probably not very quick, but that is a summary, I guess, of where I am, what the book is about, and kind of like my thoughts. I'm just going to get into bed, read some more of this, and I will update you guys as we go. Guys, sorry, this is awful lighting, but I just read the first chapter. Oh my god, this is really dark lighting, I'm sorry, but I just read the first chapter from Jet's point of view. What has just happened? Obviously I'm not going to say, but if you've read this book, what? Like, I think I'm in shock. I genuinely feel like I'm in shock because I'm like, why, when, how, what is going on? Like, now I'm terrified for this much of this book because I'm like, what is going on? What is going to happen? What are we going to go through? Okay, I'm scared. I'm buckling in. I might read like one more chapter. Oh no, that's such a risky game to play. I really want to read one more chapter, but I'm like, I need to go to bed because I have to be up at like 5 tomorrow morning. Okay. I'll catch up with you guys probably in a few days or tomorrow. So I thought we would quickly update because I did update yesterday evening when I was reading obviously The Bright Years, and I think I'd last filmed when I read like a big plot twist going into Jet's point of view. I actually, that was at 50%. So we finished off last night at 50%. I've now read this much of the book, so I literally have less than 100 pages left, and I think I must be very close to going into, yeah, Ryan's point of view. So I'm scared for what is about to happen in Jet's point of view, because knowing how Jet's point of view started, I'm scared for how Jet's point of view is going to end, if that makes sense. But I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I don't know whether it's a 5-star. I feel like everyone says this book is a 5-star. I'm really unsure on what I would rate this book. It's definitely a high rated book for me because I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I'm flying through it. I definitely plan to try and finish this tonight, but I just don't know what I'd rate it. Honest to God, I don't even know. So I'm not even going to think about that right now, because I feel like sometimes when I think about ratings before I finished a book, or like where it falls, it kind of, I'm worried that it puts me in this set where I'm like, I have to keep it in that range, otherwise I'm not being true to myself or something. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it restricts me a little bit, so I'm really not trying to think about this. Obviously the whole purpose of this video is reading books I think will be a 5-star, but I'm going to try not to like push that in my head, if that makes sense. We're going to go finish The Bright Years. So I have now finished The Bright Years. I literally was trying to film the end of this book, and then my camera died. So strong start, but I literally just finished this book, and wow, I can't believe it's over. I feel like it's only 269 pages, so it is a very quick, short book. But I will say I feel like I could have read another 269 pages, because wow, the ending really got me. I was tearing up. I didn't fully cry, but I was tearing up at the end of this. I knew it was going to break me. It did exactly that. I felt very connected to the characters. I felt really connected to Lillian, the mother, to Jet, or Georgette, the daughter, and then also Ryan at the end. I really loved that we got all three of their point of views, because I feel like it really added on to the characters, and especially having Ryan's point of view, who obviously we know he's an alcoholic, and we don't have a great perception of him throughout the book. And even in his point of view, it wasn't really like, I didn't feel like his point of view really made you change your opinion on him as such, but it really gave you an insight into how someone who is an alcoholic, how their brain can work and how they may be feeling. And I feel like it just added a lot of perspective to his whole role and journey and like his story within this book. So I feel like this was done so well. I really want to read I think it's The Burning Side. Yeah, The Burning Side by Sarah DeMoff, because that is her latest release, but it's not out in paperback yet. So I will be doing the same thing and waiting until it comes out in paperback, as much as that pains me, because after reading this, that is all I want to do. Like, I really want to read that book. Part of me is like, I could get it on my Kindle, but I would love to have the paperback copy of it. So we will see. I also love this cover, by the way. I feel like this is one of the most beautiful books I probably own. But all of that being said, rating wise, so earlier I did say, oh, I don't know how I'm going to fall. So the question is, obviously, is this a 5-star? Because I'm reading books that I think will be 5 stars. This, unfortunately, was not a 5-star for me. I don't know, I was so invested, and I really did feel connected to these characters, and I really did enjoy this book. And I think this is a beautiful, heart-wrenching story about grief, about addiction, about loss, about love, about finding yourself. We cover so many topics in such a short space of time, but I feel like it is done so well. But when I finished it, I just didn't have that 5-star feeling. Is this a book that I would recommend? Yes. Is this a book that I will probably never forget? Yep. But yeah, I just didn't get that 5-star feeling, and sometimes that happens, and that's okay. I'm very glad I read it. I feel like it's just motivated me to read more books. So yeah, I had a really good time with this one. But I thought I'd let you know the book that I've decided to go with to read next, and that is Writers and Lovers by Lily King. This is the book, I think this one and Heart the Lover are kind of like interconnected standalones. I actually did read Heart the Lover in February because I wasn't aware that they kind of like, I think some of the characters kind of cross over. I don't know what connection there is between these characters and the characters in Heart the Lover. I'm sure I'll figure it out as I read on. But this one I've had on my TBR for probably only like a month or two now. But I just really want to get to it, and I loved Heart the Lover. I really loved Lily King's writing style, and I feel like this is one that I will thoroughly enjoy. Heart the Lover was a 4.25. So maybe this one could be a 5, I don't know. Obviously this one's a later piece of work, is that right? This one was published before Heart the Lover, so it might be a case of that I prefer her writing style now to before, but I'm willing to give this one a go. So, if you're unaware of what this one's about, it says, Casey is lost. She is mourning the death of her mother. The novel she has been writing for 6 years isn't going anywhere, and her debt is soaring. Surely at 31, when all her friends are getting married and having kids, she is too old for things to be this way. Then she meets Silas. He is kind, handsome, interested, but only a few weeks later, Oscar, older, fascinating, complicated, walks into her life. His 2 boys in tow. Suddenly Casey finds herself at the point of a love triangle, torn between 2 very different futures. So this one just sounds really fun. Again, this is kind of following the literary fiction vibe, but that is just what I want to read right now. I was looking at my TBR and I was like, there are quite a few fantasies on there that I do think could be 5 stars, but I just want to feel emotion. I just want to feel depth, and yeah, I feel like lit fic at the minute is really giving me that emotional, feeling that like emotional void in my heart. So this is the one we're going to read. I actually did read like 8 pages of it. But I am gonna go to bed because this Lily King's writing style, she kind of does like long chapters, and they don't really end in chapters. They kind of just, like, there's no like chapter numbers, if that makes sense. We kind of just like have random breaks. So I think there's not a chapter for quite a few pages at the start, so I've kind of left it like, if you can see, there's like the little dots, so I've kind of left it like mid chapter, but I don't want to go like fully into this one because I do need to go to bed. So this is the next book we're going to read. Hopefully this one's a 5 stars. We will see. I think regardless I will enjoy it, just like I enjoyed The Bright Years. But yeah, I'm really excited to get this one because it's been on my mind for months, ever since I finished Heart the Lover. I finally purchased it in paperback like a month or 2 ago, as I said, so I'm like, finally it's time. So I thought we would update on Writers and Lovers because I am now about 50% into this book, and I don't think I've said anything about this. So obviously we're following Casey, who is mourning her mother. She's in her early 30s. She's got a lot of debt, and she's kind of trying to write this novel that she's wanted to write for years, and she's never completed it. She's also working as a waitress, and I feel like all of her friends like getting married, doing all these big things, and she's like, I'm in my 30s now. I still haven't got my novel written. I haven't accomplished anything. I'm not getting married. I haven't met the one. So she's kind of going through like a lot of things that I'm sure a lot of women go through. This is a really difficult one because this is it's kind of like a sequel. Is it a sequel? Prequel. This comes before Heart the Lover, and I think I did mention I read Heart the Lover a few months ago and I really, really enjoyed it. I loved that book. This one I feel like I'm not enjoying as much. I'm really struggling to connect with Casey. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's like the writing style. I don't know. I feel like the writing style in Heart of the Lover is very different to this one. I'm also not picking up on the connection between Heart of the Lover and this book. Like, I don't know where they overlap. I've either missed it or it's not yet come up. So I'm hoping it's a case of like it's not yet come up, because currently I can't remember. I remember like the main characters in Heart of the Lover, but I can't see the cross. Maybe it's staring me right in the face. I don't know. But yeah, this one, I don't know. I don't know if it's because like All the Bright Years was such a strong book and I really loved it and I was really invested, that this one, that's causing me to like put a magnifying glass over this one, if that makes sense. And it's becoming glaringly obvious that I'm not as invested in Casey's book, if that makes sense, because I was so invested in the characters in The Bright Years. I think it is The Bright Years, isn't it? Yeah, The Bright Years. That the fact that I'm not as connected and obsessed with this one is really, I'm really aware of it. I don't know, but I am obviously about halfway, so we are getting through it. I just feel like it's been very slow. We've had a lot of background. We're in Casey's mind a lot, which is great because I'm learning a lot about her, but I also kind of wish there was more going on, if that makes sense. But then I feel like maybe that's the point. Like maybe it's because she's not got a lot going on in her life. and she's in this middle ground where she's like in so much debt she can't do these things. Like, it was one of her best friend's weddings, and it's like an abroad wedding, and her friend called her and was like, you need to be there, pretty much point blank, like, you need to be there. And she's like, I physically can't afford it. And they're like, no, that's not an option. Like, you're 31 or 32, but like, you're early 30s, you know, you need to get your life together. You know, you need to get a proper job, all of these things. So I really feel for Casey, because I feel like she's at this very pinnacle moment in her life where she needs to finish the novel. She is dating a few different people at the minute. She's dating 2 guys. Obviously she's dating, as it says in the back, Oscar and Silas, which I don't know which one I'm really drawn to. I don't feel like I'm that drawn to either of them currently. I don't know. I feel like this is very early on. I'm halfway and she's only been on like a few dates with both of them, so it's really early days. But I wouldn't say I'm really like connected to either of them. And I'm not really rooting for one of them just yet, because I feel like we're more focused on Casey and like her trying to finish this novel and navigate everything. I'm going to continue reading this. I don't know when our next update, but I will let you know my thoughts and opinions, and we'll see how we go. Hello everyone. So it's been a few days since I last updated, but I actually have now finished Writers and Lovers by Lily King. I actually don't have the physical copy with me just yet, at the moment, because it's currently on a bookshelf in a different way. What do you mean? It's not with me right now. But I thought I'd quickly update, because I did decide to rate this one a 3 stars. I feel like I really thought it would be a potential 5. I really enjoyed the premise of it. It sounded really up my street. Obviously I loved Heart the Lover by Lily King, but for some reason, I think I went into this previously, but like I just didn't really connect with our main character Casey, and I feel like it took me a while to get into the story. Like, I feel like I didn't really get into it until about halfway, and even then, when I was into it, I wasn't, wow, this is incredible, I'm having an amazing time. It wasn't giving me 5-star at all. So yeah, it was a fun read. I feel like it's an easy one, but I don't think it's one that's really going to stick with me, if that makes sense. However, on to our next book, because I received this one literally, 2 days ago I think it arrived, and I've been dying to read this ever since I heard it was coming out this year. And that is Trope Sick by Lauren Oakey. Obviously I read The Best Worst Thing earlier this year, I think around March time maybe, and it was a 6-star read for me. Like, I loved it. I love Lauren Oakey's writing. I love just the way she articulates things, and how immersed and absorbed you get, and like hooks you get on these characters from literally chapter 1. She just is incredible. She's quite a new author. This is her 2nd release, but let me tell you, she is definitely one of my favourite authors, and she's definitely up there with one of my auto-buy authors. So I will quickly read you the back of what this one is about. So it says, when romance-novel-obsessed ghostwriter Katie Carso waits in a New York City cafe to meet her next writing partner, the last person in the world she expects to see is her own ex-childhood sweetheart, Tyler McNally. Years of heartache and yearning have only strengthened the force field that seems to exist between them. The pair haven't seen each other since the tragic death of Katie's older brother. Tyler was her brother's best friend, and Katie, naturally, was the girl next door. But despite both their bitter complaints at the reunion, the agent who hired them won't let them off the job. Soon they're working on their co-written romance novel in forced proximity, and realising that's not the only written trope that's coming to life. I am so excited to read this one. I actually am 96 pages in already. I've been in and out of this one for the last 2 days. It's been so hot here in the UK. Like, it is currently, I think it's like 33 degrees right now, which that is very hot for the UK, especially when you don't have aircon. So it's been a lot, but I've been loving this so much. Like, firstly, I love a New York City based book. I don't know what it is. I love New York. I went when I was 16. I've always wanted to go back. Secondly, I love Lauren Oakey's writing, and I just feel so immersed. I feel like her books just have this, I just have this draw to them, and I just feel so connected. I will say, The Best Worst Thing is definitely more literary fiction with a subplot of romance, I feel like, whereas this one is definitely a bit more romance heavy. But obviously they're 2 writers, they're writing they're writing a romance novel together. Katie is like, I feel like past Katie is very trusting. She's very sweet and kind and very giving, and I feel like since her and Tyler have parted ways, she's kind of flipped, and she's very she's now very closed off. She doesn't like people getting too close. She's a little bit more reserved to a degree, but she still comes across so fun and like likable, and I really relate to her because I feel like it makes sense, like it all adds up. And then Tyler is more like a broody, grumpy but not so grumpy man, and also we don't actually know what happened between the two, so it's really fun to read because every few chapters we get from the past chapter of them when they were kids. They lived next door. Tyler was always round. He was kind of like the third, not brother because that would be odd, but like the third family member within Katie's family. And then obviously we found out that her brother passed away. We don't know how yet, but we found that out, and everything kind of went crumbling after that happened. We don't know what the situation was, why Tyler ran off, and they haven't spoken in 8 years. Katie's obviously very hurt by it. She doesn't really want to hear him out. He's tried quite a few times to say, like, you know, can I please explain myself? And she's like, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to go back into that whole area of her life. It's taken her so many years to kind of get over it and move forward. That Tyler returning is one thing. Tyler returning and bringing all the baggage and everything back from the past is like, she's just not having it, which completely valid. And it's so fun seeing them like reunite, and also seeing them kind of decide they need to be friends in order to get through this work project. And it's just funny because like there's little things that, you know, they kind of like know about each other, and there'll be things that he knows about Katie and Katie's like, I hate that he knows that, and it's just, oh, I'm eating it up. Highly recommend, and I will keep you updated on my thoughts throughout this book. Oh my god, guys, there's a caterpillar. Oh my god, it was just on my towel. I'm gonna flick it over there. That was crazy. Who would have thought a caterpillar? Like, what? Anyway. Hello everyone, so I was literally just outside. I'm sat here in the sunshine reading Trope Sick, and I realised I've literally like barely made any updates on this book. So sorry, I'm coming to you. Oh my god, am I burnt? No, that'll be chocolate before you know it. Sorry, yes, I'm coming to you from my phone. I look really like a sweaty mess, but I just want to get some sunshine on my skin, but obviously I haven't updated. So I'm now on page 300 of Trope Sick. So I feel like I spoke about this book when I was starting it, and then I've just been powering through it. It's been so hot in the UK, as you can tell. I'm literally sunbathing. It's been so hot in the UK that it's just been like the thought of like getting my camera out, and my room's just so warm at the minute. It was not on my radar. So I hope you can hear me because there was a bit of a breeze, but. And I do apologise for like the bad, oh my god, how can there we go, the bad view, like angle, I don't know. But I'm really enjoying this book. Is it 5 stars? I don't know. I don't know whether I would say it's a 5-star right now. Am I really enjoying it? Yes. Am I really connected to the characters? Yes. I'm really intrigued to see, like, we've learned quite a bit about what happened with Katie's brother. Obviously we know he passed away. We know that like Tyler kind of feels responsible, and we also know that he's a recovering addict and all these things. So like we've had a lot of lore and a lot of background given to us, which has been great, but we're still waiting for like some final pieces, and everything's going so well right now. I'm like, oh god, what is going to happen? Like I just know something bad's going to happen, something's going to go wrong. Oh my god, guys, that was so embarrassing. Someone just came over to drop off ironing and I was laid out like in my bikini. I was like, hey. Anyway, I can't remember where I was when I was talking, but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Everything's going great right now. Obviously there's going to be some sort of conflict. This book also has like a bit of a magical realism element to it, I believe. Well, I'm sensing, based on certain things. I'm not going to say too much, but I'm definitely getting that vibe, which I love. I love Ashley Poston. I love all of like the magical realism vibes. So yeah, I just don't know. I feel so connected to them, but I just want to know. I really want to know like the full story about like her brother, because I feel like we've had Dribs and Drabs, we have definitely had more revealed recently, but I feel like there's definitely more to it. I mean, there's more to like, what's the name? Katie and Tyler, and like how that all happened. So we've got about 100 pages left. Sorry for not updating. I'll probably just do an update once I finish the book now, because like there's not much left of the book. But yeah, I feel like maybe I'll finish it tonight because I've just finished work. I'm laying in the sun, the vibes are high, the weather's amazing, and what better way to spend my afternoon? Hello everyone, so I thought we would update on Tropesick by Lauren Oakey because I have now finished this book, and obviously the first question is, this whole video has been about reading 5 stars. Was this one a 5-star? It was. I will say this was a 4.5 until the love confession. My god, if you love a good love confession, this is up there with one of my favourite love confessions ever. I was kicking my feet, I was living for it. It was just rom-com vibes. Like, it literally was a movie in my head, and I loved every second. There were parts of this, I think my main thing was I read to about 40% of this book, really here and there. Like, when I say here and there, I mean picking up the book, reading a chapter, maybe 2, putting it down, picking it up, reading a chapter, putting it down. I was very in and out of it at the start, and then from about 40% I basically read it in a day. Like, I literally read the last 50% in one day. So I just powered through the end of this because I was so obsessed, and I loved the magical realism element in this book. I think it's better. I feel like I would have been more solid on the 5-star had I read it quite quickly, but because I kind of dipped in and out at the start, I was a bit like, oh, it's gonna be a 4.5, and then the ending hit and I was like, no, do you know what, it's giving me the 5-star feeling. Like, I want to reread it, guys. I really had a good time with this. I love, is it Katie? Yeah, Katie and Tyler's dynamic. I love the backstory. I love the in and out of timelines. I also just love a friends to lovers, kind of like friends to lovers to, not enemies because that's a bit too harsh of a word, but like frenemies to friends to lovers. Like, that whole dynamic and the shift between that, and getting to see their childhood and everything that happened, and finding all the ins and outs of their past relationship coming into how they are now, and seeing why a lot of the reasons why they are the way they are throughout this book. I just loved it, and I just love Lauren's writing style. Like, she is one of my favourite authors ever. I need her to write more. Like, I'm sat patiently waiting for the next release date for the next book, because this was so fun. So, all of that being said, obviously this is the end of the video. We've read The Bright Years, which was a 4, was it a 4.5? 4.25, I believe. The Writers and Lovers, oh sorry, which was a 3. And then Tropesick. So we did finally get a 5-star out of this video. I was so worried at one point, sorry, that I was going to film this potentially 5-star reading video and there'd be no 5 stars. So I'm so glad that this one pulled through. If this is on your TBR, if The Best Worst Thing is on your TBR, anything by Lauren Oakey, please pick up, please read it, because I promise you, her writing, chef's kiss. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and hopefully I will see you again in the next one.